Okay, so good evening. Thanks for the invitation. At some point in your life, you will come across a situation where you will face a Viva. Maybe an official kind of Viva or an unofficial Viva. Hopefully not this type of Viva, where your question in a very intimidating manner. But some of these Vivas can be intimidating. So over the next roughly half an hour or so, we will just tell you a little bit from our experiences of firstly what not to do at Vivas, very important, and also how to do it smarter, do it better, so that from your knowledge you can do 100 times more. Right? So which years are you roughly in? I know some of you are first years. Second, roughly first and second. Okay. So when we have these anatomy Vivas, some of you might have already gone through, right? So we have this component of So I was just telling about these the need that you will at some point in your medical career, undergraduate, postgraduate, or life in general, you will come across a situation where you have to face a Viva. Right? And so between the two of us, Prof. Ajith is actually on the court of examiners for the Royal College of Surgeons. So he's an international examiner. So between the both of us, we have seen it all literally. Right? So we'll tell you some things about what not to do at Vivas, and also some things to do better. Right? So when you all come for these, come, rushing, come and sit, don't worry. Right? So one of the simplest Vivas and the first Vivas you come across is the anatomy Viva. Right? So for example, bones are part of it. So sometimes we give you a bone. Right? So we give you a bone and tell you, okay, tell us something about this bone. Now, sometimes that is the response we get. Right? This goes in a tumble all over the place, and it sometimes falls on the table also, so we have to pick it up and give it to these steps, right? And we are like, come on man, just tell us something. It's a nice yellow human bone. Tell us something. Usually it is white in color, Get a move on and tell us something. Right? So the first thing is, the most important thing that at a Viva is don't stare back at the examiner and just kill time. I remember a nice story that you can say something basic about anything. Professor Anthony, when I was a medical student, I always say that because sometimes he pretends to be my batchmate, so I just want to make sure that nobody is fooled by that story, right? So, but he has a nice story about his training in UK. Prof?
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. Now, yes, in the UK, those guys, their communication skills are much better than ours. This is where we fail. Our Sri Lankan candidates, when it comes to even MRCP exam, they very often come down at communication Viva. But all the others, our skills, our knowledge, our attitudes, everything is alright, right? The communication skill is a little low. So those guys, now for a say final-year student or a third-year student, you give them a chest X-ray. He doesn't know to interpret like, right. He just say something, he'll say, oh, right, looks like chest X-ray to me. Yeah, the exposure is good enough, I think. You can see the heart shadow in the middle. And lung fields, sinusites. let me think about this must be the diaphragm. Right. And obviously he has missed a huge massive pneumothorax maybe, but he's commenting that there is no gap between the question and the answer. He will just go, he has enough things to write our politicians. They have enough things to say, right? Like that. At some point you will realize communication is the most important thing. Other things you will anyway have. You have the knowledge, you have the skills as a doctor. Everything you have. But still you are not a good practitioner because of the communication skills. You won't get enough patients because of the communication skills. You might have to face some problems because communications, lack of communication skills. Right? So you will realize it's not the command of language. It's the skill we have to develop, that command of language all of us have. Don't think when you are very skilled in English language, you have the communication. No, it's not like that. Even in Sinhala or your mother tongue, you won't be able to communicate. That's a different art. That's a different art. So learn and we will build up the story. Now, as he said, when you are given the mode, don't forget, just start. You all know that it's humorous. It's the humorous. You don't have to think about the side even. Just, that's what he has to build on it. Start from the basics. It's the humorous. You will ask on the side. It's the humorous. It's the bone of the arm. Do you need any high-fi knowledge to come out with that? No. So, and it's a long bone. Do you need anything? No. That's the story. That's up and the sharp. So simple things. Right? And then your confidence automatically is getting built up now. Right? You are confident. Right? You have said something, good start. And then you can slowly, then you don't go blank. As he said, you do this. When you go blank, nothing comes in. The other reason is you haven't practiced. You know how many times I have spoken to walls, mirrors, my friends, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So I am very confident, even if I am given a weapon, I can do it. Anything. Never get scared, never get walked into, never get into a dark hole. Right? Yes.
Yeah. So let's say we made a start now. Okay, so you got the question and you have made a start. Now, it's many a time that when you give a humorous or some sort of bone, because of the time constraint that we have, we will specify and tell us about the proximal end of the humorous. Students never hear that. When you are given the humorous, they have their own question at the back of their mind. They will answer that question. You don't answer my question. Right? Just my peculiarity that annoys the hell out of me. It's as if you don't care about what I asked you. If you're a friend, you ask this guy about what is the movie or what you prefer to watch. He talks about a play. We want that, if you are not interested in the play, you want to find out, okay, what is the movie of watch. So, listen to the question very, very carefully. Well, listen to the question and answer the question. It seems like a very simple thing that we should do, but it's one of the biggest and simplest mistakes that students make. Right? So, if you are not clear, if you are unsure about it, ask the examiner. Sir, can I clarify the question again? Right? It's all right. Okay, sometimes it gives you a bit of time as well. Right? Okay. Then So if you get a humorous, of course there is something always to say. Right? There's a very simple thing that you can talk about. But Prof. Anthony will tell you, when he was a lecturer and I was a student, we had Professor Panditaratna who was professor in anatomy, right? Giant surgeon, right? So not like humeruses and all these simple, not like femurs. He used to pick up isolated skull bones.
Then one day, this happened in part 1 examination, right? He was given an isolated sphenoid bone or temporal bone, I'm not really sure. You know what he did? Candidate. He got up and went. No, you never asked me to leave. And he was given the humorous. But he is such a nice examiner, he won't penalize. But in case if you are given isolated skull bone, what are you to say? You haven't studied that. Still, say something. It's like the skull bone, isolated skull bone. Skull bone. By this time you might get some idea. Looks like a temporal bone to me. Then the examiner might ask, are you sure that this? Then don't try to argue because he's trying to help you. But it is not temporal. So then you can change your. Then the examiner will say, think about something else like the back. Sphenoid. Examiner is happy. You are happy. In my part 2 examination, I was given a specimen like a breast, and the nipple was also there. So this is like this is female breast, and the foreign examiner said, right, it's female breast. If I tell you that specimen is from the thigh, like he was a melanoma. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, the surroundings. So obviously my thoughts. I passed that Viva. So you can always come back, but show that you are relaxed. That's the most important. You never get tense. All humans. Only 2 things can happen. So you have to take the pass. So what? Pass the way. That's it. And with that mentality, if you go, you do it. You can show, as he said, 10%, but you show 100%. This much, you show this much.
Yeah, actually this, I keep on telling the first year medical students, every evening you all should go and watch these talk shows, these political talk shows. Have you seen these politicians talking? They start, and then who is moderating, he has to press the bell, and red lights are going on. You can't stop these jokers. Very simple. They're talking. Blah blah blah. They keep on doing. They are putting papers. It's a blank sheet of paper, right? But they keep on talking and talking and talking. Now that is a skill you all should acquire. A lot of people think that these politicians are idiots. They are not idiots. You and I are idiots, right? They are very, very smart people. Because they know how to cater to the idiots. That is what you all should do at the exam. That is what you all should say. So,
Cater to us.
Unfortunately, they are recording this also. Okay. So, as Prof. Anthony said, start from basics. Right? Start from basics. You wouldn't realize even when you're not writing, answering questions, about 70% of the mark will go for the absolute basics. The absolute basic. So sometimes you all feel that you used to come and say something profound at the Viva, something groundbreaking. It's just the absolute basic that we want from you. Right? So say the obvious, like Prof saying, isolated bone, skull, whatever that you can start off with, because then as you get going, we will kind of help you out, and we want to see what you know rather than trying to figure out what you don't know. So if you make a start, we can see along the journey what you know. But if you're stuck here without taking the first step, that is where what you end up. So as you are going through, there are some smart things that you can do. Right now, I remember I was examining a part 1 MD, and there's I don't want to name names, but he's an academic in our faculty now, right? Brilliant guy, right? So so I was with the foreign examiner, and the foreign examiner picked up so we take the candidates to the cadaver, and he picked up the external oblique, right? So the external oblique. So he started describing the fiber direction, etc., and he quickly moved on to the fact that at the low end it contributes to the inguinal canal. And quickly from the inguinal canal, he started describing about the laparoscopic anatomy of the inguinal canal. Now I know there was a question before for the MD part 1 where everybody failed except one candidate.
So it was demonstrating anatomy. About out of 120 candidates, only he passed, and he got the medal as well. The brightest chap I have ever seen in my life.
So anyway, so he quickly his question was, tell me something about the external oblique. So he went directly to the inguinal canal and how it forms the J-shaped ligament, and from there also he went to the laparoscopic anatomy. So basically looking at the inguinal canal architecture from inside the abdomen. Now the foreigner absolutely loved it, because at that time, maybe 15 years ago, laparoscopy was coming into vogue and hernia repairs were coming into vogue. And obviously, at an anatomy Viva, to describe about the laparoscopic anatomy of the inguinal canal was up there. And probably he may not have known the innovation and the details of the external oblique, but he was smart. He quickly moved to where he was, where he knew, where he was strong, and went on. And the foreigner didn't stop him, because he was enthralled by this answer, and he just let him bet on. And I knew what this guy was doing, because we are smart. We know what Asian guys do. So when he saw us, he was thrilled with it, and he gave the highest mark possible. I mean, this candidate of course deserved it, but that is how you all also can smartly manipulate. Obviously, some people dig their own graves. You give them the skull rather than going into the anterior cranial fossa or the middle. Sometimes they start describing the posterior cranial fossa. Like you find that students struggle with that area a little bit. So don't go to your weakest aspect. Always go to your strongest, and also try to divert the Viva to it. And as Prof. Anthony was saying, for that you need to practice, so that you can bring the Viva to your control rather than the examiner having all the control.
Yeah, and the opposite also happens. When you are blank, sometimes willingly or unwillingly you tend to make this type of mistakes. Once Professor Panditharatna was the examiner and the candidate came. All right, tell us about the tell us about the eye muscles. So basically, you could have said eye muscles. There are extraocular muscles, intraocular, extraocular muscles are arranged like this. There are superior oblique, inferior oblique, whatever he knows, he can just mention. Without telling all that, he asks, "Sir, you want intraocular muscles or extraocular muscles?" Don't question the examiner. When you are given an open question like that, you just say something, never question the examiner, right? You know what he did? Alright, tell us about the intraocular eye muscles. That's the end of the candidate. Don't annoy the examiner. Don't argue with the examiner. Never argue. I think it's coming up. No? That you said already. Never have to argue. The examiner always tries to help you. Never argue. And sometimes you know that the examiner is wrong. Right? Then you know the rules. No? Examiner is always correct. Then the second rule is if the examiner is wrong, then refer to rule number 1. So you take a step backwards. All right, sir. Yes. Now only I realize that he's helped. Even if the examiner makes a little mistake, can happen sometimes. You know that he is wrong. Never try to prove that you are correct. That's not very good. Right? That's not very good. Yes. That you just keep that. That's it. That's a good way of tackling my class, right? So, and sit comfortably and be confident, and those things you anyway do. No? Some people sit at the edge of the chair and do so. Don't do that. That's not good. Sit comfortably. That shows your confidence. No? And if you are confident, sometimes we say pick up a bone. Everyone pick up. It's humorous. So the guy who picks up the skull, I start with a very high mark and come down. It's not easy. No? That shows his confidence. Right? So show that. This is a show.
So, and speaking about confidence, it's very obvious when people start talking, saying about the humorous, very soft, kind of jittery voice. It's only human for us also to assume that this guy knows nothing, or there is some problem with his knowledge. That's why he is not being confident and looking at you straight in the face and telling you this. Right? So these are simple techniques that you need to cultivate also. I mean, as examiners, now we are also trained to not look at those factors. But you need to understand that examiners are also human. So why not use those sort of qualities in the examiner and cater to those qualities also. Right? Don't be in a rush. Don't keep on blah 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 blah. You also have a certain amount of RAM that can comprehend what you are throwing at us. Right? As Dr. Prabhat was also saying that you go at a decent pace. When he was talking also, like he says something, then leaves a pause. Those kind of things. It's a theatre that you need to perform at. Viva is a theatre. You need to kind of perform. Right? So for that, keep on practicing and loud, precise, clear. And the easiest way to do that is start off with the SGAs and things, or your board rounds, when you are talking to your consultants, etc. Stand proud, stand tall, and speak to them clearly. But if they bite your head up, that's fine. That's their problem. Right? Half my frustration in teaching is, going to the SGAs and trying to get you guys to talk. Doing my hair out when I think about the SGA or the SGA that is coming tomorrow. Because when you go out, to get you to talk is like, so this is learning grounds. The SGS, it's a practice. What you need to do at the Vivas, make mistakes while you're in the SGS, right? In the ward rounds, make mistakes and learn from your mistakes rather than at every exam. Yeah, so practice. I cannot reiterate that more and more, right? You need to do that, right? For example, just like writing answers, even though we tell you 1,000 times, you will come for the exam, sometimes having not written a single SCQ. You cannot suddenly develop that skill to write questions. The same with Vivas. Vivas are even more difficult. I mean, it's a skill that you need to develop. So, please.
Yeah, you know how many times I have been practicing histories, not relevant to you, maybe it's second, third years. Are there third or fourth years?
Yeah.
Some of them are, yeah, right? How many, just an arbitrary, hypothetical case. I just pretend with my examiner. My patient is Mr. K.W. Piasena, 46-year-old, father of two. He is from Amappala. He is a tailor. Sir, he presented with bleeding per rectum for the past 2 months duration. About 2 months ago, he noticed that he was passing bright red blood. It was not mixed with stools. Say, just comes. Just comes. Do you think I can do it overnight? No, never. 10 times? 100 times? Yes. Practice. Right? So you give me any case, short case, long case, no problem. Right? Because I have practiced. Right? You go and watch, there is a YouTube video on thyroid examination. Right? I was walking on the road and some guy came and says, we are doing a thyroid video. Can you come and examine that patient and make a demonstration? I had practiced, fortunately. It was there in my blood. I just attended it then and there without any practice. Go and watch that video and see how nicely it has come. Can you do that? Yes. It's a matter of practice. It's not the intelligence or anything, nothing to do with the intelligence. It's just practice. Just practice. You practice more, you get. You just walk through examinations like that. You can still come down there. Your luck also matters a little bit, right? Like sometimes you get into unnecessary this thing, but you can manipulate, as he said. So I'm not going to give you any more examples. So when he sent this presentation to me, that's the phrase. Really, I was very impressed with. That's the most important thing out of this. You go and speak to the wall, and then with practice, you can do marvelous things. Rowan Atkinson, he couldn't speak, he had slurring, or some, stammer. He had a stammer, and he was rejected by many directors. He couldn't. So that is why he initially produced without a single word those movies. But later, he overcame that. And then he has to rise now. Later, and even Bharati Santosh. See how they have done. You can do things. These are simple things. So please, that's the most important thing. Go and practice. Not 10 times, 100 times. That will count.
Yeah, I mean, apart from sort of doing it by yourself, obviously you all have study groups where you all get together and do MCQs, SCQs. Yes, no? I don't see a lot of heads nodding. You all don't do group studies, is it? You all do, okay. So at least 5 minutes of that time period, devote to doing a Viva. You can get, put one fellow on the spot, 5 people sitting around and hammer the fellow with questions. That's how, I don't know, for our, when I remember, my best buddies when we were studying for the MD surgery exam. So we used to put one of us sit down and the others sit around and we question. And we know that when we went for those Vivas that it really helped. Because you don't develop this skill overnight, right? You have to practice several months to get there, right? So please do that.
And get humiliated. But you know how many times, and get ridiculed, right? You know how many times our consultants have ridiculed us. Not that I approve those things, so I recommend those things to the generation consultants. We have been ridiculed and hammered, and I mean basically physically hit also by consultants, right? For making mistakes. I said, sir, this is too much. I am too nervous and I can't answer these questions. So in the exam, so ask the examiners to come to your clinic. Then you are relaxed, you can answer. This is how he answered, right? So we have been humiliated, but that is why we are like that. That's why when we go for short cases, MRC's examinations, people used to one examiner, he is the short case king. That's because we have learned in a very hard, but I don't think that is necessary nowadays, but the lesson to learn is, so as he said, hammer the fellow, ridicule him, but you learn.
So I think Prof. Anthony has already covered this. Obviously, do not get confrontational with the examiners. Right? Examiners sometimes can make mistakes. They may keep on asking you something, thinking that you have given the wrong answer, but you may be correct. So you also have to be a little smart about it, right? You can say, just say, sorry, I'm sorry, sir. The way I have understood it is this way. You're not saying this is the right thing, but this is the way you have understood, and hopefully at least the other examiner will pick that up and maybe will give a kick to the examiner and shut up, if you are wrong or something. So it happens.
It does happen. It does happen. I have many fellows like that. Yes, sir. He's correct.
So be kind of humble, diplomatic about it, but you will get around it. Right? Nowadays, of course, the questions are prepared beforehand. We know the answers. It's discussed, and the answers are almost written down. So the chances of that kind of thing happening is very, very minimal, right? Very minimal. But still, you must have a way of getting around it. Okay. So now this is something I tell some of the final years when they come for their sort of classes and things and everything. This you ask them a question and this I don't know. You have spent 5.5 years in this faculty. Thanks to Saitam, some people are at 6.5 years, right? So after 6.5 years, you come for this final exam. It's a challenging time, 6.5 years of MBBS curriculum. And at this final exam, which will determine what rank you will get on in the merit list. Right? You have to die for every mark. You have to claw your way for every single mark that you get at these Vivas. Don't come and say, I don't know. It's a waste of your entire 6.5 or 5.5 year career in MBBS. All that sweat you have put in is wasted. So don't give up. Right? As Prof. Anthony said about that swing oil, start from somewhere. Because examiners are willing to try and extract information from it, but you got to give them something. If you say, I don't know, I mean, where can I go as an examiner from there if you have put a request saying, I don't know? There's nowhere for me to go. Right? So do not give up. Every question, after a while, after 5 minutes of, banter and all these things, if nothing happens, better to say, I don't know and move on. But don't right away say, I don't know. There is something you can, especially clinicals, there will be something that you can, contribute and do. So, fight for that. 5.5 years of work. Right? Do not give up so easy. Anything else?
Yeah, so as you said at the start, normally it's a simple thing. We never ask it a difficult question. And sometimes you might be asked, describe the thoracic duct. You might think, oh my God, I have never studied that. Don't think that. You have studied at some point, you know where it is actually. Right? You can, it's something to do with the lymphatic transfer of lymphs from abdomen to the venous system. I think it's in the thorax, right? At least say something, right? Like then we will ask where does it start. At least you know that it starts in the abdomen somewhere, right? So it's not nice to say I don't know. But after a certain limit, if you think you are asked a difficult question, you give a distinction or higher mark. At that point, you might say, honestly, if you don't know that, that's a small point, not then you might say, sorry, sir, I don't know about it, right? That's okay. But at the start, when you are given an open question, it's not nice to say, I don't know, right? The medical student should know, or doctor should know, something about everything. Not everything about something. So you must know something about everything. So should be able to handle anything. When a patient comes, you can't say I don't know. You know something. Right? Yes. So that's what he said. You can't say I don't know. That's not good.
So that is kind of what we wanted to run through with you all. So you just need to kind of look at this process and from your day-to-day activity in the faculty itself, you can do a lot of practicing, right? Do a lot of practicing because I think there is enough and more opportunity from first year onwards in anatomy, biochemistry, physiology, all have small group discussions. Right? Be involved in them, be very proactive with all of these and learn to talk and in these mock vivas among yourself. You can get into a group and do this, and it is very, very important to do that because it may be a job vibe, right? I mean, in the future, you may come to a situation, you may be thinking of migrating, right? So they will give you a call first of all. I know some of my colleagues who are getting out of the country, their first vivas are on Zoom. Right? The first selection is there. Right? A lot of companies nowadays, the first selection interview is via a call. They won't tell you to come, they don't waste your time, they can't waste their time. Right? So you must be able to kind of face that interview and talk to people. Right? And so for so many requirements, it's very important that you learn how to do this Viva Voce properly. Right? And for that, just practice.
Do you have any questions to ask? Yes?
So I'm sorry if it was covered earlier, it came a bit late. But so if you are facing, for example, anatomy viva, is it so the structure of the viva, is it using cadavers and bones? So is it sometimes can the examiner just come and say, okay, just describe this and start off from there?
Usually we first give you a bone because for you then you have something to handle and makes you comfortable, right? We won't give any soft tissues for you to handle, right? But generally, but then we continue the Bible, say, something we will move on, say, humorous. We describe that. We know that, right, you are comfortable there, okay. There we decide, okay, you are a passable guy. Then we want to give you more marks. All right, tell us about the nerves which are in close contact. Okay, right. How does it get in there? Right, okay. From where does it come? Right. Then we go to soft tissues. Right, like that. It's a continuing story-like thing. So, can ask anything. But generally, we also build up the case. Not haphazardly, we don't ask pick-up points from there. It's not simple recall. Right? Then you give a clinical scenario and then ask something like that. So, it's very easy. So you have to use your brain a little bit. Anything else? Anyone? Oh, sure.
Now this is, I have faced like taking 2 Vivas up to now. The anatomy distinction Viva I went there. And we were given the questions beforehand, then we were seated for a few minutes, then we came and no one asked the questions, we just gave the answers. So in that kind of a Viva, is there a special way we should get now? No one is guiding us to the questions. The question is written and we are just saying our answer. Then it was like I was looking at the examiner and the examiner was also like continue, but I don't know where I am, my kind of situation. So is there a special way that we should face that?
Higher order Vivas. Higher, that's not the undergraduate. That's applicable to, we have decided that you belong to that category, that's why you come there. There, of course, we want to select the best out of the best, cream out of the cream. There, of course, we turn down a stern face and then decide, because we can't guide you, then it becomes unfair. You have to maintain the, it's fairness to all. In MRCS and FRCS and things, you are supposed to put a stern face, and he is one of the best examiners. I am not really, right, in the new format. He is one of the best examiners in MRCS because he won't show his emotions. He just say, right, okay, very professional. So you judge, you perform, I will judge. That's it. So you are not supposed to say very good, yes, good boy, good. Not that. That's it, no?
Yeah. Because we actually sit down for weeks before the distinction Viva. We prepare the questions and the answers also, potential answers. So we vet it through a lot of people. So some people say, no, this is not the answer student will get. So we revise the expected answer also and at different levels. And as Prof. said, there is no spoon feeding, right? And that distinction. This is better. If you want to select the best out of the best, who we can probably say has got a distinction in anatomy from the Colombo medical faculty. Right? A lot of people will struggle. We have only like, during our years, we had no distinctions in anatomy. I mentioned, right? So it's like that. So it was very challenging. And we found that the Vivas that we were conducting for the MBBS in general, the MBBS anatomy, the second MB, was not challenging enough to select a real distinction person. So that's why we came up with this. And I think we are happy that people who get the distinction of that Viva stand right up there. They are just amazing in their knowledge, and we are proud to call them people who have got a distinction. So that's a different type of Viva. If you feel lost, then we expect you to feel lost, because we really want to challenge you and select that 1% of us who really actually deserve. Right? So that is all about practice again. That's all about practice.
Anything else? You may ask about short cases, long cases, no problem. So can we expect more and more people to speak from tomorrow onwards in the SDAs?
I think we have already finished maybe last one.
Yeah, maybe the last one.
but you all will come across this and face this, throughout the rest of your lives. So it's a good investment to develop this ability to communicate. And the same approach works for even writing skills as well. The same things that we said. Practice works. Putting the basics down works. It is just the same thing. Write something. Prof. Anthony used to joke with us and say, if you don't know the answer, at least rewrite the question.
Because of that, last time I saw one guy has written only the question 10 or 15 times. Actually, that does happen.
That won't give you marks, but great. Okay, so thanks to Edwin and the team for organizing this and giving us this opportunity to share some of our thoughts. And thanks for coming at this late hour. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you both of you, sirs, as well for accepting our very informal invitation at your busy schedule and also coming today for this session. And I hope mostly the youngsters got something out of it, and you'll be speaking more and more. It is one MBA coming the last time. And so we have got some